What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 10 Millionaire Maker.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 10, let's take a look at the quarterback position. My Millionaire Maker quarterback is going to be Jared Goff from the LA Rams playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Jared Goff has averaged 19.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3 rush attempts per game. He scored 17, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's going to be about 6% owned, projected at 23.8 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's $6,500 DraftKings salary and $900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 55.5 points scored in this game, with the Rams favored by 1.5. So fantastic matchup here. A high-scoring game, a close, competitive game, and Darrell Henderson Jr., their running back, is questionable, so this should be a heavy passing game script against the worst defense in the league. I think this sets up for Jared Goff to have a monster week, so I like Jared Goff here versus the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. I'm going to save some salary at this position, and I'm getting super low ownership on this player. So my Millionaire Maker running back is J.D. McKissic from the Washington Redskins playing the Detroit Lions, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing running backs. J.D. McKissic has averaged 9.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.4 rush attempts per game and 5.9 pass targets per game. Now you might be scared away by that low volume, but last game, J.D. McKissic got 3 rush attempts, but he got 14 pass targets. So he got 17 touches, he scored 17, 7, and 14 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So he's been a productive player, and he's only going to be about 1% owned. Projected at 11.6 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's $4,900 DraftKings salary and $400 more on FanDuel. So look guys, this is a risky play, but you got to take some risks here in the Millionaire Maker. You're getting a low salary player with super low ownership who's got some pretty big upside if he's going to get anything close to 14 pass targets. He's got a fantastic matchup, so I like J.D. McKissic here versus the Detroit Lions. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL, MLB is still going, NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver is going to be Robert Woods from the LA Rams playing the Seattle Seahawks, who have the absolute worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers.
Robert Woods has averaged 16.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.8 pass targets per game and 2 rush attempts per game. He scored 28 fantasy points last week off of 8 pass targets and 2 rush attempts. He's going to be about 11% owned, projected at 16.8 fantasy points here in week 10. He's $6,600 DraftKings salary and $600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 55.5 points scored in this game. They have the Rams favored by 1.5, so we know it's a high-scoring game, a close, competitive game, and the best matchup on the slate. Both Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are in fantastic spots here in Week 10, so I like Robert Woods here versus the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My millionaire maker tight end is Hunter Henry from the LA Chargers playing the Miami Dolphins, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and although they've been pretty good versus opposing tight ends, Hunter Henry has averaged 9.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 9% owned. He's on the field for 88% of the snaps, projected at 10.2 fantasy points here in Week 10, and he's only $4,100 DraftKings salary, and he's $1,400 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48 points scored in this game, with the LA Chargers trailing by 2.5. So it's not the best matchup here for Hunter Henry, but I like the pass volume. I like that he got 7 targets last game, and he's averaging almost 7 targets a game. So I think he's poised to have a pretty good week here, and it's going to allow you to save some salary for your other positions. So I like Hunter Henry here versus the Miami Dolphins.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
You've unlocked the bonus content.
Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer over on Draft Dashboard. We have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. We've generated a lineup, so let's see who we got. We got Jared Goff, J.D. McKissick, DeAndre Swift, Tyler Boyd, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, Hunter Henry, Robert Woods, and the Saints defense. So I love this stack with Jared Goff, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods. I think those 3 guys are going to have a monster week 10. Then we have our low ownership play in J.D. McKissick, who opens up our salary so that we can run back that Rams stack with Tyler Lockett. And then we have Tyler Boyd, and we could change this play here if we wanted to go with someone like Robbie Anderson or DJ Chark or Mike Evans. So there's a lot of options that we have in this wide receiver spot because we still have 6,400 here to fill this spot. But I like Tyler Boyd, so I like this lineup. I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later. Okay, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer over on Draft Dashboard. We have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Jared Goff, J.D. McKissick, Kareem Hunt, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, Hunter Henry, Robert Woods, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. So I like this lineup as well. We got the same Goff, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods stack. I'm really big on that stack this week. If you watched that Buffalo game last week versus Seattle, they were just running up and down the field like they were playing a college team. So I like Kareem Hunt here. He's got a nice matchup here versus the Houston Texans, and he's only going to be about 4% owned. So we got some low ownership at our running back position. And we have some options here to upgrade Brandon Cooks. If we want to do so, we could go to DJ Shark, Robbie Anderson, Christian Kirk. But I'm going to keep Brandon Cooks in there. So I like this lineup. So I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.